How to store cannabis properly and make it last for years. Like a fine whiskey barrel and wine cellar, cannabis also comes at its best when aged in a dark, cool place. Though there is no steadfast expiration date for cannabis, the method you use for preserving the cannabis makes a big difference in maintaining the bud's freshness and potency. The question is, how do you store cannabis in a way that could extend its longevity while maintaining the vigor and freshness? Experts have described different methods. However, here are some time-proven methods that are easy and inexpensive and require very less equipment. Use airtight glass containers to store the weed. Use clean, airtight glass containers or jars to store cannabis. You can buy glass containers from any ordinary supermarket or hardware store. The tricky part is to make sure you do leave some air in the container while the air stored with cannabis isn't in detrimental extent. Always leave a quarter space at the top of the canister or container. Do not fill the containers to the brim with the buds. If you leave no air, then the buds will dry out. If you have too much air, the buds will get damp and moldy. Freeze your cannabis in a convenient temperature. The best way to store your buds is in an airtight glass jars in a cool and dark place under an ideal temperature between 60 and 70 degrees Fahrenheit. If you need to store a high volume of cannabis, you can freeze them after keeping them completely dry for a period of 4 weeks. On this note, you should know that you must not handle frozen buds until it becomes normal in room temperature, as trichomes become brittle and can easily break off in freezing temperatures. Refrigerate your cannabis. Not recommended. Even if you use airtight jars, cannabis can grow mold in the fridge, so you should avoid storing cannabis in the fridge. If you can't help but doing it, make sure the weed is completely dry and put them in the back where the humidity and temperature don't fluctuate. Plastic baggies. Worst method. Albeit, this is very common among people who aren't expert in handling cannabis. This is the worst of all storage methods. Cannabis gets brittle and dries out in plastic bags. It also loses its natural smell, and the potency deteriorates sharply. So it should be avoided entirely or can be used for a short term if there is no better alternative. Here are some things you should know while storing cannabis. Make sure cannabis has been cured for at least 4 weeks before putting them into long-term storage. Without proper curing before storage, the buds can lose their strength and smoothness. Sunlight can stop the medicinal qualities of cannabis. Your cannabis, if stored correctly, can maintain its medicinal qualities for a few years. Exposure to sun will turn your cannabis brown, no matter how you have stored it away. Airtight, non-porous glass jar are their best way for storing the buds for long term. You can use metal or plastic box and bag, but that could reduce the smell and taste after a while. Avoid heat and milding temperature in the place where you store your buds. The ideal temperature is 60 to 70 degrees Fahrenheit, 15 to 21 degrees Celsius, or under 32 degrees Fahrenheit, 0 degrees Celsius. Extra heat, cold, or middling temperature cause the cannabis potency to decrease. Keep your cannabis away from any electronic devices or appliances that will expose the cannabis to heat. Keeping cannabis on top of a microwave or near a laptop or mobile charge is a bad idea. Now, as you know how to store cannabis properly and make it last for years, enjoy the best form of your weeds, even if it comes from the previous year. Do write to us in the comments section if you have any questions. Also, don't forget to hit the subscribe button below. Visit onlinemedicalcard.com now to get an MMJ recommendation online in less than 10 minutes.